It's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much. We'll be doing a lot more live streams in the future because it's really fun for me to do, and it seems like you guys are also having a lot of fun in the chat. So thank you once again so much for joining me on the live streams. So without further ado, enjoy my reaction. Whew, all right, all the smiles, all the happiness, all the joy is gone now. So here we are reacting to Honkai Chronicles Auto Apocalypse. This came out just yesterday. Let's all get sad together. 50 minutes long. I mean, at least with the Honkai Chronicles videos, they have done a good job of adding a bit of humor. So, you know, maybe we could smile just a bit. I'm not ready.
Life is but a walking shadow, a clumsy actor gesturing on the stage, who only appears briefly and steps off in silence.
Man, the music too.
Auto Apocalypse, the most pathetic fool alive. He is the revered
I love that they call him
Shixal
pathetic.
overseer. He is a corrupt, bigoted clown. Over centuries, he once sacrificed lives beyond count for his selfish desires, but also overthrew a decadent reign with people's support. He treated humans as pawns and trampled the value of emotion and life, but treasured Valkyries at the front line and prayed for their triumphant return. Commitment and betrayal, friend
or
and
foe.
Truth and lies.
He's everything.
No one has ever seen through him, but to Otto himself, his actions only served one purpose. It all began in an afternoon 500 years ago. Though Otto was born in the Three Houses, he was frail and sickly. He could only craft whimsical inventions, which naturally deprived him of inheritance. His older brothers detested his effort at self-destruction, but no one noticed his inner needs and desires. It was then that a white-haired, blue-eyed girl brightened Otto's cold and dull heart like a ray of sunshine.
Yeah, absolutely, of course.
She praised Otto's work sincerely, expected great inventions from him, and invited him to save the world with her.
This was such a beautiful moment in the manga.
Young Otto felt recognized. He could be expected. He could be needed. Since that faraway afternoon, everything he did has gained meaning because of her validation. But the twisted fate would not spare them. The rampant plague and the failed crusade tore the prosperity they lived in apart. Power and force were the perfect fuel for greed, turning a shaky faith into the breeding ground for degeneracy. In the turmoil, the lives of the two reached a turning point. Fearing abandonment, Otto chose to disregard ethics and performed experiments on dying patients. He sought findings at all costs. Callan, who could not condone
Let's
his
go,
crime,
Callan!
became a raven at night to spread hope and enact the justice in her heart.
Hell yeah.
But lies were lies. After many operations, Callan discovered the secrets of the human experiments, and Otto exposed himself at the last minute. Before the infinite greed of Chixal, individual will was nothing. Callan was imprisoned. The cold bars separated the two that were once childhood friends.
God, man.
Yet their minds had already drifted further apart. To Callan, the dignity of life was what she had sworn to defend. To Otto, morality and ethics were only prices to be paid. A loud slap and a conflict of beliefs sent them on completely different paths. Otto knew that in no way could he stop Callan. He accepted it and helped her escape in silence. After everything settled, Otto was given the key to the library. Although Void Archives used the index permission as a bait in an attempt to possess Otto, Otto did not fall for it. He developed technology with pieces of knowledge, and thus a game that would last centuries began. In the days that followed, Otto searched for Callan while continuing his research and experiments. When he heard Callan was in danger in Yai village, he immediately had Oath of Judah delivered, but not the response letter that spoke his loving heart. Meanwhile, Callan sealed the Hersher of corruption in the black box with Oath of Judah, but was severely wounded. She was taken back to Europe by Schicksal for a trial.
Wow.
Callan was faithful and refused to sacrifice for family feuds, and thus was sentenced to hanging. Otto tried everything he could, but it was futile before the church's will. On the day of execution, the desperate Otto released Honkai Beast on the execution ground.
Shit,
he planned
man.
to take Callan
What?
amid the chaos, but he underestimated Callan's resolve. In the end, Callan
I didn't
lost
realize that he
when protecting
unleashed
the
it.
people. Losing the love of his life painted Otto's world gray again. Resentful, he chased after Callan's shadow. He tried to give this sad story a happy ending as she would have wanted. He sounded the horn of revolution with his wisdom and cleansed the remaining evil with his hands. People sang his accomplishments and soldiers admired his resourcefulness. As cheers of victory echoed through the silent church, Otto could not help but ask himself if this was enough. In the centuries that followed, the hole inside Otto was still agape. The only way to mend it was to revive the love of his life and the holy maid of the people, Callan Kaslana. In 1496, Otto had no choice but to travel to Shenzhou.
Dude, that's such a good. That's such a good art.
For a chance to revive Callan. He met the fledgling swordswoman Li Sushang and found the reborn Fu Hua. But to his surprise, even an immortal celestial had regrets and could not bring back departed souls. In the end, Otto and Fu Hua made a pact. Schicksal would protect Shenzhou in the powerless Fu Hua's place, and Fu Hua would serve Schicksal as a Valkyrie. In 1952, the first Honkai eruption broke out. Schicksal captured the amnesiac first Hersher and performed 3 years worth of serial experiments on him,
Oh
which
my
yielded
god.
nothing.
Man, yeah.
Otto
it's-
even approached him in person to persuade him into succeeding to the Schicksal overseer, but failed. To eliminate risks, Otto decided to wipe out the North American branch that was about to discover
Damn,
Schicksal's ugly
Otto, what?
He launched Honkai fission missiles at New York, where tens of millions lived. Heroes defending freedom and justice stepped forward and crushed Otto's scheme at the cost of their lives. This led to the independence of anti-entropy. This failure taught Otto to take hold of the power to retaliate Honkai, which led to the Clone Project and the Artificial Stigma
I
Project.
love that, like, Otto
In
is just causing more and more
1972,
problems.
Otto began running forbidden clone experiments in the hope of reviving Callan, but the results were not satisfactory. After injecting the cells of Honkai Beast Vishnu, the first living batch of Callan clones was born. Otto made them fight one another to death at the end of the survival test. Only the individual numbered A310 rejected this absurd
I
order.
just finished this
The
Chronicles
kindness
story,
and
so this is
valuing
very
life
fresh in my
and the
mind.
courage to defy
What
the
happened
maker
here.
shocked Otto. He took A310 into his family and named her Teresa Apocalypse. Meanwhile, Otto established the Tower of Babylon laboratory to study artificial stigmata. Countless gifted children were taken from their parents and subjected to inhumane experiments day and night. Insurmountable suffering and hatred against humanity nourished these Honkai vessels. At last, Siren, the second Hersher, was born. Otto mustered Valkyrie troops to subdue the Hersher, dived into her sentience with the help of Fu Hua, and received revelation from the will of Honkai. After many great sacrifices were made, Otto gave the order to launch Honkai fission missiles at Siberia, to bury the truth deep beneath the scorched snowfield. Otto's resurrection project gradually took shape due to the guidance from above.
Man, dude, it's like, oh. It's hard to like Otto, you know?
Otto tried to create the most promising clone with Kiana Kaslana and Siren's genes for the second Hersher to possess upon return. He transplanted the core of the second Hersher to the test subject numbered K423. The longing for Cecilia gave her life. After being taken to St. Freya by Himeko, the love she felt and the bond she made helped her learn to love this world and those around her. Watching Kiana move along the path he designed, Otto knew when she began to believe she would never be alone was when he could advance the plan. In the illusory Tower of Babylon, the girl's despair and longing for motherly love facilitated the Hersher Persona's awakening. Fuhua took her back to Schicksal. The experiment pod confined her once.
I feel like I'm just watching and not much reacting because it's just super fascinating. All this information that's.
Power. As Otto injected enormous Honkai energy into K423, Hersher of the Void returned. Otto saved the dying Fuhua and told her his plan. Looking into Fuhua's furious eyes, Otto paused for a short yet long moment.
He's just here to like eliminate and kill anyone who stands in his way.
Himeko burned up herself to tear through Siren's will. Kiana's sentience returned to the body of the Hersher. To obtain a Hersher of the Void who could command the power with human will, Otto trampled emotions and disregarded lives. Otto believed that love and emotional bonds could evoke miracles, but he never respected nor honored them.
Facts?
So far, Callan's revival was only missing a key: Cosmic Juggernaut's beacon. Previously, to reach the imaginary tree that governed how worlds worked, Schicksal cracked the legend of King Arthur and found the Key of Infinity that offered space travel in the River Thames, but it was incomplete. Durandal passed Pioneer Sue's test by chance and received information and experience as numerous as sand grains in the Ganges. To complete Cosmic Juggernaut, Otto struck a deal with World Serpent's leader. He traded Void Archives for Cosmic Juggernaut's beacon. When the Hersher of Dominance and Hyperion were locked in battle, he took the Theater of Domination and thousands of cores in secret. At last, the fully prepared Otto returned to the beginning. Kolisten, where Schicksal's blood and tears were buried. It would become the end of his long journey. On the other side of the stage, Valkyries had readied themselves as well. Teresa would succeed as the Schicksal Overseer and lead the newborn Schicksal toward a bright future. Bronya would shoulder the weight of the Welt name, for the Hersher of Reason's path had stretched to her. Fuhua concluded a feud that spanned centuries, so she could embrace yesterday as a human and open the door to tomorrow.
So cool.
Kiana broke free from the shackles of fate and created a trail of flames that would guide them forward with her friends. Durandal broke through the barrier of Kaslana and earned a new heritage that only belonged to her. Valkyries were eager to settle accounts with Otto.
I love that.
Indeed, they won. Their crushing victory was a heavy blow to Otto. What they did not know was that their growth, their resolve, and even the joy of winning
little chills with the music
were also part of Otto's plan. What he planned for in the past 500 years was but a bargaining chip to attain death and a new life. After being defeated by Valkyries, Otto broke free from Imaginary's control momentarily. He imbued the world's wedge with all the false god's power to create infinite possibilities for Callan. As Otto left his last message, his sentience finally dissipated in the still time-space. To different people, Otto perhaps means different things.
100%.
But to Otto himself, all rights and wrongs are transient. He has attained eternal peace. His life as a fool is finally over.
That was beautiful. I like it's just, you know, as folks are mentioning in the chat as well, it's, you know, Otto did everything for a reason. And obviously, like, I think obviously you can always like disagree with, you know, maybe he went too far with those things, obviously, but it's also nice to see that he is a character who is very interesting. You know, he is not just a villain who's just super evil. Like, there's always a reason for his the things that he's doing, and you know, he succeeded in what he always wanted to do since the very beginning. And I think that's just, that I think is really cool. And the fact they're able to tell that story is super awesome. And as someone who just recently joined learning about, you know, Honkai Impact, to know that they have these stories that they've built over so many years, to see them be able to complete some of these character stories is just incredible. JP Kuhn mentions, not gonna lie, MiHoYo just made us feel conflicted for Otto. And I think that's like perfect. That's exactly what you want for a villain. And like, as T1 mentioned as well, it's like, I think they're purposely making him like, you know, learning about like, okay, he seems evil, but he's doing it for these reasons that, you know, like, we could understand why he's making the choices he's making, even if we don't agree with the choices he's made. And I think that's what makes him really cool. That what makes him a great like antagonist for Honkai Impact. So yeah, it's freaking fantastic. For me, Otto is on the same level as Emmett Selk. Roxas, 1,000%. 1,000%. Very much the, like, without talking about spoilers, absolutely a very much a character who is, they have reasons for their things that they're doing, and they're not like 100% evil, and because they want to be evil. They want to kill because they want to kill. So yeah, I don't think any characters would be as strong as they are now if not for Otto. Yeah, 1,000% agree. Otto is the catalyst for literally everything that's been happening, or at least, yeah, for everything that's been happening, it seems like. I feel like if he never started experimentations with, you know, from the very beginning 500 years ago, like, I don't think any of this would have happened. I feel like sometimes he's just like the main antagonist, but sometimes he's like one of the good guys. Yeah, and it's also like just, yeah, he is someone who is just guided by what he wants to do, and sometimes, you know, that aligns with the good guys, and sometimes that aligns against them. So I feel like, you know, Otto is just going to lawful evil. That's a perfect way of describing it. Otto's going to do what he wants and do it the way he thinks is right. And then sometimes that will align with the good, and sometimes that will just align with the bad. And because he has one thing in his mind, and that is to save Callan no matter what. And I think that makes him such a fantastic character. It makes him such a interesting character. He's a character that he's like, if you hate this character, he's good to hate. Because he's not for me, I think that Otto is such a character that, like, I feel like he's a character that you're meant to hate, but not because he's a bad character. He's like such a perfectly well-written, like, detailed character that is doing these things, that you're supposed to hate him for doing these things, but you understand why he's doing these things. I don't know. It's just freaking incredible. This is great. I love this. I'm probably gonna, honestly, once I catch up and really read through all the manga and whatnot, I'll definitely go back and rewatch this, just so I can understand more of some of the context and whatnot. But yeah, this is fantastic. Otto is such an interesting character that I love following his journey from here. Let's do it. All right, Winter Memories Honkai Impact 3rd concept animation. This is so good! Oh my god! This is beautiful. I love it. Let's go! Holy, oh my god! What? Oh my god. Wow. MiHoYo just showing off. Who did they use to animate this? Oh my god. What? What? That is what an amazing trailer that was. The little concept animation. This is where all the Genshin you know what? If MiHoYo is just funneling all their Genshin money into Honkai Impact, I don't mind. That's absolutely perfect. Oh, I would love that. That's so good. Oh man, that's so fantastic. Thank you for recommending this video. That was awesome. That just like went past my radar. All right, let's do that. We're delaying Equinox Crusade. We're just gonna keep reacting. All right, here we go. The Lookback trailer.
そう、今でもあの炎を覚えてる。残り火が冷たい風の中で揺れ、薪が怪人の雨を
The embers were burned.
あの炎は消え
Only
るこ
that
とがなか
flame
った
had been extinguished.
夜の帳が落ちた時、炎は太陽や無数の
This is our
星と
story.
温かく見守ってくれた。
There are meetings and partings.
今、高等無形な舞台で人形たちは幕を下ろし、太陽と星の光を隠そうとしている。
More challenges await us.
もう一人の私、セールと一緒
Oh
に
man.
目標ロック
Oh, it's like it's so exciting.
すぐに片付ける。シドリ、バットン。審判の時は来た。この烈火は
This
全てを
will incinerate everything.
今度は私があの炎になる番だ。
Captains, thank you for
見
journeying
てく
with
れて
us.
るよね、艦長。
Wow. Happy 4 years, Honkai. And there's still going to be so much more. Just thinking about it, right? They have so many more stories to tell with these characters. That's crazy. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for recommending this video. 4 years. It's only been 4 years. They've told so much in 4 years. Yeah, that's incredible. I actually don't know what this video is. The Equinox Crusade. I just saw that it was 12 minutes and I'm like, oh, this actually might be important to actually watch. So let's figure out what this is. The Journey of Durandal.
2008年，少女从病床上醒来。
Lo, you're gonna laugh, I'm
是一个
sure.
和自己同样有着金色头发的男子。
男子名为奥托·阿波卡利斯，是少女的主治医生，也是天命的主教。在众人束手无策之时，是奥托将少女从鬼门关拯救回来。但据说，治疗带来的副作用让少女失去了所有的记忆。在这名医生的引导下，少女为自己挑选了一个新的名字——比安卡·阿塔吉娜。那时的少女并不知道自己的命运已经发生了怎样的变动，更不知道眼前这个金发男子隐隐密谋着的惊天计划。提安娜·卡斯兰娜，这是少女原本的名字。作为齐格菲·卡斯兰娜和塞西利亚·沙尼亚特的爱情结晶，少女在出生前就被寄予了种种祝福与厚望。
Well, thank you for hanging out, JP Kun. I really appreciate
夺走了
it.
少女的一切。塞西利亚在那场战斗中不幸牺牲。
I'm skipping P.
而7年之后，因为一场与空之旅者有关的意外，少女自己遭遇了开头的那段故事。她成为了实质上的孤儿。在孤儿院那段原本不好不坏的日子里，比安卡遇见了天命女武神冲锋队的队长拉格纳罗德布洛克。即使经历过无数痛苦与牺牲，拉格纳依旧开朗阳光，就像一位传播着美好的天使。
I don't mind with the spoilers.
这位如夏日般可爱温婉的老师，永远地离开了世界。对故人最好的纪念，就是沿着他们开辟的道路继续前进下去。为了完成拉格纳老师所未能实现的使命，比安卡下定决心，要成为天命最强的女武神。在参加天命女武神准入测试时，比安卡曾与丽塔擦肩而过。尽管那时两人并未相识。但奇妙的命运，终究还是借着那次量子之海的任务，把他们联系在了一起。2012年2月29日，借由格尼乌斯系统，12岁的比安卡与奥托为其配置的副官丽塔一起前往量子之海中的某个世界炮。进入量子之海后，Shakespeare 号的船长莎士比亚
I remember we got introduced to Shakespeare during
在这个世界炮里，欧洲大陆被神秘的阿斯加德之壁围住，任何触碰到障壁的生物都会瞬间灰飞烟灭。更糟糕的是，阿斯加德之壁在不断向外扩张，将世界吞噬殆尽，也只是时间的问题。莎士比亚曾试图用圣剑幽兰戴尔破坏障壁，却以失败告终。蕴含神秘力量的7颗宝石也散落到世界各地。为了拯救这个世界，他希望比安卡可以重新驱动这把圣剑，破坏阿斯加德之壁。于是，比安卡与丽塔成为了卡里多尼亚号的乘客，和莎士比亚一行人踏上了寻回7颗宝石的冒险旅途，遭遇了形形色色的事件，体验了各种各样的风土人情。最终，比安卡找到了所有的宝石，解决了阿斯加德之壁的问题。但即便如此，世界炮也仍然面临着解体的危机。好在卡里多尼亚号的冒险同伴薛定谔博士急中生智，指出可以借助圣剑幽兰戴尔的力量，将整个世界炮繁衍进比安卡体内，由比安卡从外部世界保护它的完整。只要比安卡还活着，这个世界炮就还能作为一个整体存在。但是这也意味着比安卡从此要背负起守护另一个世界的责任。不过比安卡并没有因此而产生犹豫，他说：“女武神的人生从来不都是这样的吗？为了我所喜欢的人，为了这些人所喜欢的更多的人，为了所有让人能够称之为人的人，他们曾经使我获得了感动，而我也愿意献上自己的一切来守护他们。”而在任务成功回到天命后，少女也在自己的名字中加入了幽兰戴尔这个部分，以示自己的意志，将体内的世界炮接入虚数之术，防止他的命运与自己这个保护者过度绑定，从此成为了幽兰戴尔的一大目标。而奥托也自然将这一切看在了眼里。不过，更重要的是，为了承担起这份责任，不负那整个世界的重托，幽兰戴尔从此在一点一滴的事情上都会严格地要求自己。为了成为更强大的战士，他不断磨练自己的性格，努力让自己变得冷静、理性，甚至从一个咋咋呼呼、有些虚荣的女孩，变成了某种在旁人眼中不易接近的存在。但正因为如此，幽兰戴尔不负众望地成为了天命有史以来最年轻也是最强的 S 级女武神。 这件事发生在2015年，幽兰戴尔名义上15岁的时候。也正是借着这个机会，奥托将创生之剑黑渊白花交付给了他。虽然此刻的少女还不知道，这柄武器对她而言究竟意味着怎样一种厚重的传承。同年，奉奥托的命令，幽兰戴尔和丽塔一起前往伦敦，成功带回第二神之剑千界一城。而在参与第二神之剑的启动实验时，幽兰戴尔被一位名为苏的先行者拉入了须弥芥子世界炮内，被迫参与苏以自身经历创作的试炼。在这一过程中，幽兰戴尔简单而直接的热情唤醒了因为与凯文的争执而深陷消沉的苏。出于对这种真挚之情的信任，苏决定把自己的救世计划交由幽兰戴尔转授奥托，并将须弥芥子托付给了幽兰戴尔，帮助他更自如地控制体内世界炮的力量。这也是不灭星矛的完整由来。从此之后，幽兰戴尔就开始配合奥托，一步步推进借用千界一城连通虚数之术的实验。可是实验屡陷入瓶颈。为了取得更大的进展，奥托需要妥善利用空之律者，甚至是凯文的力量加以辅助。2016年，随着空之律者在奥托操控下重临于世，整个世界进入了多事之秋。2017年，收到丽塔递交的烈月报告的幽兰戴尔，为了解救丽塔、回收基安娜而来到了天穹市。当时，基安娜已经为了拯救天穹市而耗尽了自己的所有力量。
Sumeru is in Genshin, so Durandal was in Genshin.
幽兰戴尔使用黑渊白花催生出巨树，接住了坠落的基安娜，以自己的方式将她保护起来。此时，牙医赶到，他想要阻止幽兰戴尔带走基安娜，却因实力差距悬殊，无能为力。在确认丽塔的安全后，幽兰戴尔将基安娜带回了北非的维穆尔实验室。对当时的幽兰戴尔来说，掌握空之律者力量的基安娜是奥托进一步实验的关键，而那时的他与基安娜之间也尚未建立起足够的信任。后来，由于实验室遭到世界蛇的突袭，这对姐妹的第一次正式会面便在一片混乱中草草收场。但对奥托来说，这次事件不仅让他确认了空之律者的能力，还更进一步与世界蛇的领袖凯文达成了历史性的合作协议。当时的幽兰戴尔不可能知道，至此，奥托复活卡莲的布局已经准备就绪，他只需要静静等待一个合适的时机，去一步步实现这个会将所有人卷入其中的计划。之后，经历了珊瑚岛事件和石之律者事件。2017年6月，天命收到了一组奇怪的报告，他们看似毫无关联，但背后却都有崩坏的影子。在奥托遭遇了石之律者后就一直失踪的情况下，代管天命的幽兰戴尔决定与逆商合作，将相关资料毫无保留地同步给逆商，共同对抗这一系列诡异事件的幕后黑手——千人律者。而在打败千人律者后的某一天，奥托突然回到了天命，准备已久的他迫不及待地正式启动了把世界炮接回虚数之术的实验。无论如何，这都意味着少女有了真正的机会去完成幽兰戴尔这个名字代表着的重大使命。虽然从结果而言，目前仍没有办法实现世界炮独立的最终目标，但在老朋友石宇绮罗、尼古拉斯和圣剑小优的帮助下，少女找到了可以与人共同分担体内世界炮的方法。少女终于不用再独自一人承担守护世界命运的责任了。另一方面，这个实验的成功也意味着奥托的计划终于可以进入最终的实施阶段。即使面对自己500年来最棒的学生幽兰戴尔，奥托也从未将计划全盘托出过。与此相反，他恰恰要利用幽兰戴尔认为他奥托也打算拯救世界的态度。他派幽兰戴尔与克洛斯城镇迎接德丽莎一行人，并以此为契机，在台前幕后不断使用激将法刺激他们。最终，当幽兰戴尔发现奥托即便牺牲整个世界也要复活卡莲的时候，他决定对奥托发起诉诸武力的制止。这是幽兰戴尔第一次公然违抗主教的命令。 将体内的世界炮托付给丽塔后，他只身前往教堂，与奥托当面对质。虽然幽兰戴尔更希望打破砂锅问到底，弄清奥托真正的想法，但奥托并没有给他这样的机会，而是主动挑起了战斗。在与奥托的战斗中，幽兰戴尔在武力上胜过一筹，一时击败了奥托。不过，奥托也借机完成了伪神的升华，
This is really just like
并一举
another
将幽兰戴
Honkai
尔流放
Chronicles.
到了卡斯拉纳的圣城空间，计划以借刀杀人之计，让幽兰戴尔在无意中帮助自己清理道路。复杂、混沌，没有尽头。在圣痕空间中，无数的记忆碎片几乎将少女淹没。
Yeah, Kevin is absolutely looking fresh.
的那个瞬间，少女内心却因为一些并非自己的缘故而五味杂陈。她想起了那个人生中充满遗憾的齐格飞，想起了那个继承了 Kiana 之名的成熟战士。她自己早已能坦然接受任何命运。
Oh, I can't wait.
但如果那些真相会影响到自己所认可、钦佩的人们，那就是另一回事了。或许，少女的人生始于谎言，少女的行动，过去始终在那位主教的计划之中。但少女从来不是谁的棋子，她所做的每一个决定都出于自己的意志，走过的每一段路都是生命中重要的瑰宝。无论使用哪个名字。
Whatever name she goes by, Bianca or Durandal,
还是卡斯拉娜和
Kaslana
沙尼尔，
or Shira.
少女都是那个满
She is
怀
still
热
hot-blooded
血，
Valkyrie
为世界
who
上所有
fights
美
for
好
all that
而
is
战的
beautiful in the
女武神。
world.
过去如此，
Was,
现在如
is,
此，
and will
将来
always
也是如
be.
此。
Oh, I'm getting
少
freaking
女心中没有
chills.
迷茫，因为她相信自己会始终勇敢地走下去。在未来的旅程中，少女将继续坚守自己的使命，直到人类战胜崩坏的那一天。以及那一天之后的每一天。
Wow, that was great. That was wonderful. I mean, it kind of snuck up on us. I guess this was just like a Chronicles video. But yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. And thank you for the subscription on YouTube. Unfortunately, I am unable to read those characters, but thank you so much. I appreciate you. I mean, I understand you, Kaslana, but can you please stop killing yourself? Yeah, absolutely. But this has been wonderful. Yeah, I love hearing Durandal's, story and growth. Luckily, I already learned that she is once again, another the Kaslana family line, the lineage, is a bit rough. Things are happening there. And it always seems like Otto is behind it all. He's always the cause for these. But I love that they tell this story where Durandal is just trying to break out of like, I don't want to be this person you want me to be. Like, I want to be someone else, which I think is great. Especially for, a character who is meant to be, a Kaslana, a Kiana. The fact that she's like, I don't want to be this. I want to be my own person. I want to be who you think I am, who you want me to be. So I love that her story is just almost like she's doing her own thing, and I love it. So yeah, that's great. Man, these been over the 4 you got this. I can't even talk. For 4 freaking years, MiHoYo has been creating one of the best characters. A lot of the best characters. That's been absolutely important. And if you read the comment, which you already did yet, it's they'll never fall. Oh man, what was the actual quote? But, they're always willing to lay their life down on the line to protect those that they care about. They never yield. Yeah, Kaslana's never yield. It's rough, but this is what I love. This is what I love. They tell such a great story. They've been doing this for 4 years apparently, and y'all have been munching down on some delicious, juicy lore. I'm excited to learn more they have left and what more they have left, they just, they are at the top of their game. I feel like it hasn't slowed down. Maybe people who have been here for a long time, yes, the Castellanos die but never yield. But yeah, this has been an absolute trip. For those of you who have been around since the beginning of the game, or at least for the past few years or a couple of years, like, it doesn't seem like they're slowing down in terms of like the quality of their writing and in terms of the frequency of their writing. It seems like they're still doing a great job. I think this will go on for several more years. I've been playing for 3 years now, and I still don't understand half of this thing. That's why they have the Chronicle videos. I feel like the Chronicle videos are such a perfect encapsulation of like everything we've learned. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video. There's some times where I didn't quite react a lot, especially that Auto Apocalypse video. I found out that I just wasn't reacting because Auto's story is such a heartbreaking story, but also like such an engaging story that sometimes I just forget that I'm on camera and I'm just watching it because I'm like, and so sorry if I didn't react as I normally do. I feel like I just completely forgot the camera was on, and I was just like so focused on that story because his story is an amazing, incredible story, and the fact that you all got to enjoy that over the course of 4 years must have been absolutely incredible to see his story and his path throughout all of Honkai Impact. And I hope that, I'll be able to join you all for another 4 years for Honkai Impact, because this game has shown me that there's so much to learn and so much to know about this series. And I'm so incredibly excited to learn it all, really. I'm only on chapter 8, but I already know the things to expect, but it doesn't make it any less exciting to finally learn these things in the game. So thank you all so much for taking the time to watch these videos. And I guess by the time this video is released, I would have already had reactions to me first opening up 5.5 patch. So I guess if the video is up, check out the video right here. I'm pretty sure it'll be up. This video might go on Friday. And then also, because this video is going up on Friday, my Battlesuits reactions are actually going to be on Monday. So definitely take a look at that for sure. That's it. So thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos and for joining me for everything live. And it's been a good time. So thank you all so much for making this new newbie captain feel welcomed. Bye.